Welcome back to another video slash discussion video. So today's video is more on console. So as you guys know that there's been some talk or I've seen a few people who have been complaining about the new graphics. So you guys know about the new graphics, how they have um a sort of they have a slightly issue with FPS. So let's start with the first thing. So FPS itself has been it has like well, number one, FPS has been kind of bad. That's number one. Number two is that the problem is about the new graphics. Okay, there is performance wise and graphics wise. So you guys, if you play on Xbox Series X or S or any of the the PlayStation 4, you'll experience the FPS drops. And the reason now, there is no fix for this. There is no fix. Not even a zilt. Nothing. So I don't know what Epic's gonna do. Either they have to like find out a way to make the players actually play the game, or they have to find out a way to help console players or switch on to something like a FPS, some performance mode, right? So you guys know that there is no performance mode on the console version. So if you're running on PS4 or Xbox Series X or any of those Xbox like Series X or S, you'll get huge frame drops. And I never experienced it myself because I am on the PlayStation 5 because it has the next gen's computer, all the next gen stuff. And this is a problem with the new Unreal Engine itself. And the reason why, as you guys know, there are a lot of people who play on older consoles but still play the game, and older Xbox and still want to play the game. But however, if Epic keeps updating the graphics every single like chapter, the game won't be able to be playable for players like PS4, PS5, like people like for example, if the PS6 comes out, right, or the PS7 or such forth, you don't want to keep buying a console every single year. It just doesn't feel like any kind of like any type of thing. Like it just doesn't feel like I don't know. For me, my personal thinking is that when the PS maybe 6 will come out, uh, or such forth. But I'm not saying the PS6 will be coming out um, anytime soon. But just to give an example, if you release a chapter every single season and it reflects on the player's base itself, uh, if a new graphics card, if a new graphics comes out, right? The new graphics comes out, then it starts getting really competitive, and you gotta improve your graphics. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. However, for other games like other games that don't update like the graphics itself, but still allow players to play on uh, the like the older gen of the console, on the like games, like any games that are out there that still use some of the old as still use the old engine but still update the graphics, like the update the engine and such forth. Doesn't mean they have to change the full game itself. It just means that they just have to update the engine to the newest version of the newest version of the engine, like the newest version. And that's the thing. That's a big problem. If a game like If Unreal Engine keeps updating to the newest graphics or anything like that, people are going to be complaining about Unreal Engine that's a very bad engine. I know it's not a bad engine, but graphics wise, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of effort to process the game. If that does happen and Unreal Engine 6 comes out, for example, let's say Unreal Engine 6 comes out in the next couple of years, right? And it's played on the PlayStation 6, right? Later on, that will be where the PlayStation 5 players are going to be complaining about the how the Fortnite graphics are like people are going to like it's gonna be like impossible to play because then people are gonna have to keep buying the exact same like gonna be have to buy a new graphics card and I mean a new new everything, and people don't want to spend $200 or $600 just to get a new console. It just doesn't make sense. Personally, I let it. If you have like over $2 billion, you'd be like, oh, I'm gonna buy this, I'm gonna buy that. Throw your money away, and that's the main reason why Epic needs to consider about take it down a notch. Okay, personally, the game itself is very fun and definitely really good to play around with. But if there is too much like if the graphics are way too expendable for players who are on older gens, then people are going to complain, telling Epic, they have to reduce the graphics and all that kind of stuff, or give them another option. So, unless they have to figure out a way to make players on both the PS4 or the Xbox Series X and the S to be playable, to actually play playable, uh, they'll have to decide on whether or not they should update the engine anymore. Because if they keep updating the engine, players are going to be complaining about the whole situation about this kind of thing. I know that Tim Sweeney is talking about the whole Creative 2.0, but personally, the player base is going to be a very big issue. And later on in that regard is that players are going to be complaining about the whole situation. Like, it's going to be chaos. The thing is that Epic's not listening to the players base of itself. So, unless they have a way to, I don't know, make performance better or have a way, they're supposed to be back on January 4th, like on January 3rd or right somewhere around in January, and once we maybe they'll introduce a new type of performance like performance mode where you can lower the amount of you'll lower the amount of graphics has to be required to play the game. And personally, they say that on the Epic Game Store, like they say that they can run any graphics card they want. But however, like in any other graphics card besides that, it would literally crash the whole game. I played on PC back in the day, and when I played Fortnite on Chapter 2 or anything like that, my game would crash. Literally crash. So, it's like, you gotta get the best of everything. It's like you can't understand the frustration of, players itself. You gotta understand there are so many, so many things that you need to, first of all, 120 FPS, right? That's a big deal for PS5 players. But as for PS4 players, they don't have 120 FPS unless they have a way to reduce the contrast. Like on PC players, they can reduce how much like the shadows and all that kind of stuff, but they can't do on a console. So unless they have a way to reduce the amount of performance required to play on, the game and such for Fortnite itself, it won't be possible. Like I'm gonna say this once. you have to consider the player base and how the game plays. If there is too much graphics on the thing, right? Too much performance running the game, then it starts being like no one can play it anymore, right? No one can have fun. No one can do anything. So unless something changes, there won't be any next. There won't be a time when people start thinking about like, do I want to play this game because they keep updating the graphics card? So the question is, Epic has to learn how to create a better player base. If they don't, the game will literally be unplayable for many players. So I'm gonna be honest. It depends on the actual. They'll have to do something that might have to give console players like something to make them less, give them a better performance or something like that. So we'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe new, and of course, I am going to keep an eye on if Epic's going to listen or not. And personally, I think one thing that they should really consider is finding a way to make the game more playable. If the game is going to experience huge lag spikes, then it's not really playable anymore. It's just that there are many players who still want to play on PS4 because of the fact it's just better. It just has like, you can do things more. As for PS5 players, you have very limited options, but you do have quite a few options to the game. You can't record your screen on the PS5 and on your home page. You can't record anything like that, but you can do on the PS4. So because you need a third party or something like that. But as for now, I don't know what Epic's gonna do. They have to figure out a way to help players itself to give it a better experience. If they just if the performance is way too huge, I mean it's little, but you can't just you can't ignore the fact that players around the world are experiencing huge lag spikes and they're not allowed to play the game without without this performance issue. So I'm thinking Epic may have to find a way to fix that performance issue. I hope you guys do enjoy. Leave a like, subscribe new, and of course, I will catch you all later. Once, I'm gonna read more about it. Anyways, catch you guys all later. Goodbye.